The sound of skin meeting skin echoed through the decorated hall louder than the DJ's music, louder than 100 guests gasping in unison, louder than anything Chike Okonkwo had ever heard in his 32 years of life. His mother, Adiz, staggered backward in her coral-colored iro and buba, her head wrap slipping sideways as her hand flew to her cheek. The red welt bloomed instantly against her dark skin. Her eyes, those same eyes that watched over him through malaria, through university, through every stumbling block of his childhood in Lagos, went wide with disbelief. "Chike," she whispered, but the word died in the sudden, suffocating silence. His bride, Ngozi, stood frozen at the altar in her white mermaid gown, bouquet trembling in her manicured hands. The pastor's microphone had fallen to the floor with a dull thud. Someone's Annie in the third row started crying. Chike's chest heaved as he stared at his mother, his hand still raised, his face twisted with rage that seemed to come from somewhere beyond himself. "I told you to stay away from her," he hissed through clenched teeth, pointing at his bride. "I told you this is MY Day. Mine and Ngozi's. But you couldn't help yourself, could you? Always controlling, always interfering. Your mother was only trying to." Ngozi's father started from his seat. "Shut up." Chike roared, spinning toward the man. "This doesn't concern you." Adiz touched her face gingerly, tears streaming down her cheeks. She had only whispered to Ngozi moments before, a mother's blessing, a private word of caution about the text message she'd accidentally seen on Chike's phone the night before. A message from someone named Amara. "Can't wait to see you after the wedding, baby. Your real wife will be waiting." But Chike had seen them whispering, had seen his mother's lips moving near Ngozi's ear. And something inside him, something dark and protective of a secret, had snapped like a dry twig. What would you do if you walked in on this? Hit like if you witnessed family betrayal, and comment below where you're watching from. The wedding planner, a thin woman in a burgundy suit, stepped forward cautiously. "Mr. Okonkwo, perhaps we should take a moment." "Get out," Chike said quietly, his voice now eerily calm. "Everyone, get out." Nobody moved. I said, "Get out." The exodus began slowly, then all at once. Guests grabbed their purses and phones, whispering furiously as they shuffled toward the exits of the Eco Hotel's grand ballroom. The videographer kept filming until someone knocked the camera from his hands. Bridesmaids clustered around Ngozi, who had collapsed into a chair, her veil askew, mascara running in black rivers down her face. Only Adiz remained standing in her spot, one hand still pressed to her burning cheek, watching her son with an expression that transcended heartbreak. It was the look of a woman watching someone she loved die right in front of her. "You are not my son," she said softly, each word deliberate. "The boy I raised would never." "Then I guess you raised a stranger," Chike interrupted, straightening his white tuxedo jacket. His best man, Emeka, grabbed his arm, but Chike shook him off violently. "I'm done being your puppet, Mama. I'm a man now. Ngozi is my wife. You need to respect that." But Ngozi was shaking her head slowly, standing up from her chair. Her voice, when it came, was hollow. "No, Chike, I'm not." She began walking down the aisle, her train dragging behind her like a wounded thing, leaving Chike alone at the altar with the smoking ruins of his life scattered around him like confetti. His phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from Amara. "Did you do it? Is she gone yet?" Chike looked at his mother one last time. She was walking away now, too, supported by her sister, leaving without looking back. In that moment, as the empty ballroom swallowed the last sounds of footsteps and sobbing, Chike felt something fundamental slip away from him, some essential piece of his humanity that he would spend the rest of his life trying to find again. But he didn't know that yet. All he knew was that Amara was waiting. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. What do you think Chike's mother whispered to the bride? Comment below your theories. The morning after the wedding that never was, Chike woke up in Amara's bed in her apartment in Lekki Phase 1, the expensive part of Lagos where successful mistresses live in luxury paid for by other women's husbands. Sunlight cut through the white curtains like an accusation. His head throbbed. Too much champagne from a reception that never happened, too much adrenaline from a confrontation he was only now beginning to process. His tuxedo lay crumpled on the floor like a corpse. Amara emerged from the bathroom wrapped in a silk robe, her long braids cascading over one shoulder. She was beautiful in the calculated way of women who knew exactly what men wanted. Full lips always glossed, skin always glowing, voice always honey smooth. "Good morning, husband," she purred, sitting on the edge of the bed. "How does freedom feel?" Chike sat up, rubbing his face. His phone showed 47 missed calls. 23 from Ngozi, 15 from Emeka, 9 from his mother. He turned it face down. "My mother," he started, but the words caught in his throat. "Your mother was trying to ruin your happiness," Amara said, running her fingers through his hair. "You did what you had to do. Strong men make hard choices." But the memory of his mother's face, that look of absolute devastation, played on repeat in his mind. He pushed it away. "Ngozi texted me." Amara continued, reaching for her own phone. "Want to see?" Before he could answer, she thrust the screen in his face. The message read, "You can have him. I hope you both rot in whatever hell exists for people like you." Chike felt something twist in his stomach, but Amara was laughing, a bright, tinkling sound that seemed inappropriate somehow. "She's just bitter," Amara said. "Poor thing. All that planning for nothing." She stood, walking to her dresser where a bottle of champagne already sat chilling. "We should celebrate properly. You're finally free from that boring, traditional life they wanted for you." "Amara, I need to..." "Need to what?" She spun around, and for just a second, something cold flashed in her eyes. "Need to run back to Mommy? Need to beg forgiveness from a woman who probably would have poisoned our relationship from day one." She softened her tone, pouring 2 glasses. "Baby, you chose me. You chose us. Don't second-guess it now." Chike took the glass she offered, but didn't drink. Through the window, Legos sprawled beneath them. Millions of people living their lives, none of them having just slapped their mother at their own wedding. His phone buzzed again. This time it was Emeka calling. Against his better judgment, he answered. "Guy, where are you?" Emeka's voice was tight, with barely controlled anger. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I'm handling my business." "Handling your business?" "Chike, your mother collapsed last night. They took her to Reddington Hospital. She had a panic attack. So severe they thought it was a heart attack." The champagne glass slipped from Chike's fingers, shattering on the tile floor. "What?" "Your uncle called me at 3 in the morning. She kept saying your name, kept asking where she went wrong raising you." Emeka's voice broke. "And Ngozi's father? He's talking to lawyers, Chike, about the bride price, the wedding expenses, everything. He wants you to pay back every naira, and he's threatening a lawsuit for public humiliation and emotional distress." Amara was watching him now, arms crossed, face unreadable. "How much?" Chike asked quietly. 8 million naira. Maybe more if he adds damages. 8 million. The number hung in the air like a noose. Chike had maybe 2 million in savings. The rest had gone to the wedding, to this apartment's rent, to keeping Amara happy for the past 6 months. "I have to go," Chike said. "Where?" "To the hospital. To see my mother." He ended the call and stood up, searching for his clothes. Amara blocked his path, her face suddenly hard. "If you walk out that door to go to her, we're done," she said flatly. "I didn't wait 6 months for you to leave your boring bride just to watch you run back to Mommy at the first sign of trouble. My mother is in the hospital. Your mother put herself there with her dramatics." Amara snapped. "She couldn't control you, so now she's playing victim. Can't you see that?" Chike stared at this woman he'd risked everything for, and for the first time, he really looked at her, saw the calculation behind the beauty, the manipulation wrapped in silk and perfume. "Move," he said. Something flickered across Amara's face. Surprise, then rage. "You're choosing her over me? After everything?" "I'm choosing to see if my mother's alive," Chike said, pushing past her. He was halfway to the door when Amara's voice stopped him cold. "She knows, Chike." He turned slowly. "Knows what?" Amara smiled, but it wasn't the warm smile he'd fallen for. It was something predatory. Your precious Mama Adiz. She knows about the money you've been taking from your father's business account. The money you told me you earned. I wonder what she'd say if she knew her golden boy was embezzling from the family construction company to keep his side piece comfortable. The world tilted sideways. How do you... I know everything, baby, Amara said softly, walking toward him. And if you leave me now, everyone else will too. Ngozi, your father, the police. I kept copies of all the bank transfers. Insurance, you know? Chike's phone buzzed again. Another message from his uncle. Your father knows about the missing money. He's on his way from Abuja. God help you, son. Comment below. Is Amara the real villain, or did Chike create his own nightmare? Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Reddington Hospital's private wing smelled like antiseptic and regret. Chike stood outside room 407 for 10 minutes before he found the courage to push open the door. His mother lay in a hospital bed, smaller somehow than he remembered. The machines beeped steadily, monitoring a heart he had broken. Her sister, Anin Kem, sat in the chair beside her, and when she saw Chike, her face hardened into something that could cut glass. You have nerve showing your face here, Anin Kem hissed, standing up like a shield between him and his mother. I came to see if she's okay. Okay. Anin Kem's laugh was bitter. Your mother hasn't slept. She hasn't eaten. She keeps asking what she did wrong, why her only son would humiliate her in front of the entire community. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. Do you know what people are saying? That she must have been a terrible mother to raise a son who could do such a thing. That she spoiled you, that she was too soft, that this is her fault. Each word landed like a blow. Chike's throat tightened. Ani, I need to explain. Explain what? That you hit your mother because some painted Legos girl convinced you to. Anin Kem shook her head. Your father called me this morning from Abuja. He knows about the missing money. Chike. 3 million naira from the business account over 6 months. He's been auditing the books. Chike felt the floor shift beneath him. 3 million. It had seemed so easy at the time, just borrowing from the family business, planning to pay it back eventually. Amara had needed things. The apartment, the car, the lifestyle. She'd said a real man takes care of his woman. I was going to replace it. With what money? Anin Kem cut him off. You have a lawsuit coming from Ngozi's family for 8 million naira. You owe your father 3 million. And from what I hear, that woman you're staying with doesn't even have a real job. She's a professional girlfriend, Chike. She moves from man to man, bleeding them dry. Behind them, Adiz stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, cloudy with medication. When she saw Chike, something complicated passed across her face. Hope, pain, love, betrayal, all tangled together. Chike, she whispered, her voice hoarse. He moved to her bedside, but Anin Kem's hand on his chest stopped him. Don't upset her, she warned. Nkem, please, Adiz said weakly. Let me talk to my son. Anin Kem reluctantly stepped back, but positioned herself where she could intervene if needed. Chike knelt beside the bed, taking his mother's hand. It felt fragile, papery. When had she gotten so old? Mama, I'm sorry, he started, but the words felt hollow, insufficient. I don't know what came over me. Everything was happening so fast, and I thought you were trying to ruin things. What did I say, Ngozi? Adiz asked, her eyes searching his face. Tell me, what did I whisper that made you so angry? Chike's mind raced. He realized he didn't actually know. He'd just seen them whispering and assumed. I blessed her, Adiz continued, tears sliding down her temples into her hair. I told her, welcome to our family, daughter. May your marriage be blessed with love and children and prosperity. That's all, Chike. That's what your mother said that made you strike her in front of God and everyone. The truth hit him like a physical blow. He'd imagined a conspiracy, a betrayal, when there had been only love. But the message on my phone, Chike said weakly. You saw it. From Amara. I saw nothing on your phone, Adiz said, confusion crossing her face. I never looked at your phone, Chike. Why would I? The room spun. Amara had told him his mother had seen the messages, that she was going to expose everything to Ngozi. That's why he'd been so paranoid, so ready to believe the worst. But it had all been a lie. That woman manipulated you, Anim Kem said, reading his face. She wanted you to push everyone away, so you'd have only her. Classic strategy. Chike's phone buzzed. A message from Amara. Where are you? You better not be playing hero at that hospital. Remember what I have on you. He showed the message to his mother and aunt. Adiz closed her eyes. She's blackmailing you. Yes. With evidence of you stealing from your father's company. Yes. To keep a lifestyle she demanded. Chike could only nod, shame burning through him like acid. Your father arrives tonight, Anim Kem said. Chief Okonkwo doesn't play games, Chike. He built that construction business from nothing. If he presses charges for embezzlement, you'll go to prison. I know. And Ngozi's father is serious about his lawsuit. He's already hired Abimbla and Associates, the best family law firm in Lagos. I know. And this Amara woman has you by the throat. I know. Chike exploded, standing up. Don't you think I know I destroyed everything? My marriage, my family, my future, all for a woman who was playing me from day one. Then fix it, Adiz said quietly. Chike turned to look at her. Mama, I don't know how. You're my son, she said, trying to sit up. Anim Kem rushed to adjust her pillows. You made terrible choices, but you're still my son. Your father will want to disown you. The community will want to shame you. But you're still my child, and I won't let you drown. Not without trying to save you first. How? Chike asked, his voice breaking. How do I fix any of this? Adiz was quiet for a moment, gathering strength. Then she said, We need to know everything about this Amara. Everything. Because women like that, they always have secrets worse than the ones they're holding over you. Anim Kem pulled out her phone. I know someone who knows someone. A private investigator who specializes in complicated situations. That costs money I don't have, Chike said. Your mother has money, Anim Kem said firmly. Money she was saving for your children's education. Money she'll now use to save your foolish life. The door burst open. Emeka rushed in, breathless. Chike, we have a problem. Amara just posted on Instagram. He held up his phone. There was Amara in a photo from that morning, champagne glass raised, caption reading, When you finally get rid of the dead weight nail polish sparkles, hashtag new beginnings, hashtag know your worth, hashtag Lagos living. In the background of the photo, clearly visible on her dresser, was Chike's wallet lying open and his father's company checkbook. The post had over 2,000 likes already. Anim Kem zoomed in on the image. Is that what I think it is? She's insane, Emeka breathed. She just posted evidence of your access to the company accounts. Chike, this makes it look like you're still actively stealing. Chike's phone rang. His father's number. The room fell silent as he stared at the screen, his thumb hovering over the answer button. Everything hung in the balance, his freedom, his future, whatever shred of redemption might still be possible. But before he could answer, another notification popped up. A comment on Amara's post from an account he didn't recognize. Enjoy it while it lasts, sis. We all know how this ends, smiling face with horns. The commenter's profile picture was a woman in sunglasses. Chike clicked on the profile. His blood ran cold. The account belonged to someone named Chioma Akoli. Her bio read, Amara Nwosu's former best friend. Asked me about the baby she gave up. Asked me about the married man she ruined. Asked me about the last guy she blackmailed. What secrets is Chioma about to reveal? Drop a comment with your predictions and smash that like button. By the time Chike answered his father's call, his hands were shaking so badly, he almost dropped the phone. Papa, don't papa me. Chief Okonkwo's voice came to like thunder, decades of authority compressed into each syllable. I'm at the airport. I land in 2 hours. You will meet me at the house in Ikoyi, not your mother's hospital room, not that prostitute's apartment. My house. Do you understand? Yes, sir. And Chike, Bring your explanations. All of them. Because when I'm done with you, you'll wish it was just your mother you disappointed. The line went dead. Anin Kem was already typing furiously on her phone. I'm contacting that investigator. His name is Femi Adeyemi, former police detective, now private. If anyone can dig up dirt on this Amara fast, it's him. But what about this Chioma woman? Emeka asked, scrolling through her Instagram profile. She's dropping hints about something big. Look, she just posted, 36 hours until I tell the whole story. Amara thought she could silence me with threats. She was wrong. Chike sat down heavily in the plastic hospital chair. His entire life was unraveling in real time on social media, and he was powerless to stop it. What did I do? He whispered to no one in particular. How did I become this person? His mother reached out and touched his arm. Despite everything, her touch was gentle. You fell in love with an illusion. Adiz said, many men do. But now you have to face reality, and reality is harsh. She looked at Anin Kem. Call Femi. Tell him it's urgent. Tell him I'm paying double his usual rate if he can get us something on Amara and Wosu within 24 hours. Mama, you shouldn't. Chike started. I shouldn't what? Save my son from prison? From a blackmailer. Adiz's voice gained strength. You made mistakes, terrible ones. But that woman saw you coming from miles away. She picked you like fruit from a tree. Now we pick her apart and see what's rotten inside. Emeka's phone rang. He answered, his face growing increasingly serious. When he hung up, he looked at Chike with something between pity and disbelief. That was Ngozi's cousin, Adana. She wants to meet with you. Why? She wouldn't say over the phone, but she said it's urgent and it's about Amara. She'll meet you at the Cafe Neo in Victoria Island in 1 hour. It could be a trap, Anin Kem warned. Ngozi's family wants to destroy you. Or, Adiz said thoughtfully, maybe Ngozi's family knows something we don't. Adana is a lawyer, isn't she? She wouldn't risk her professional reputation unless she had real information. Chike checked the time. 45 minutes until he had to meet his father. But this might be his only chance. I'll go, he decided. Emeka, come with me. Mama, rest. Please. Rest. Adiz tried to laugh, but it came out weak. My son is drowning, and you want me to rest? But her eyes were already closing, exhaustion finally claiming her. Cafe Neo was crowded with Lagos young professionals on their lunch breaks. Men in crisp shirts, women in power dresses, everyone performing success while sipping overpriced cappuccinos. Chike and Emeka found Adana at a corner table, her lawyer's briefcase open, documents spread before her like evidence at a trial. Adana looked up as they approached. She was Ngozi's cousin, but the family resemblance was striking. Same high cheekbones, same intelligent eyes. But where Ngozi's face had always been soft with love, Adana's was hard with purpose. Sit, she said, not a greeting, a command. They sat. My cousin is destroyed. Adana began without preamble. She loved you, Chike. Really loved you. And you humiliated her in the most public way possible for that woman. I know. I'm not finished. Adana's voice was ice. My uncle wants to sue you into bankruptcy. My aunt wants to put your name in every blog in Lagos as a warning to other women. My entire family wants your head on a platter. Then why am I here? Chike asked. Adana pushed a photograph across the table. It showed Amara at a restaurant with an older man, clearly wealthy from his clothes and watch. They were holding hands across the table. This was taken 3 days ago, Adana said. The man is Alhaji Musa Bello, oil and gas investor, married with 5 children. She pushed another photo. This is from last week. Different restaurant, different man. Chief Okoro. Real estate, also married. Another photo. Dr. Chike Okonkwo, cardiothoracic surgeon. Getting divorced now, actually, because his wife found text messages from someone named Amara. Chike felt sick. She's running a scheme, Adana continued. She targets successful men, preferably those with something to lose. She seduces them, gets evidence of the affair or financial irregularities, then bleeds them dry with threats of exposure. You're not the first, Chike. You're not even the most recent. You're just the youngest and stupidest. Emeka leaned forward. How did you get these photos? The surgeon's wife hired a private investigator when she suspected something. When she found out about Amara, she started digging. Turns out there's a whole network of women Amara has wronged. Former friends she betrayed, business partners she cheated, men she's ruined. They've been quietly building a case. Why are you telling me this? Chike asked. Your family hates me. Adana's expression softened slightly. Because Ngozi asked me to, despite everything, despite the humiliation. She doesn't want to see you go to prison. She said, Chike isn't a bad person. He's a weak person who got caught by a predator. Those were her exact words. Chike's vision blurred with tears. After everything he'd done, Ngozi was trying to save him. What do I do? He asked. Adana pulled out a business card. This is the investigator. His name is Femi Adeyemi. That's the same man my aunt is calling, Emeka said. I know. I recommended him to her. Adana smiled grimly. Femi is very good at finding things people want hidden. He's already investigating Amara. But here's what you need to know. Amara has a partner. Someone who helps her identify targets. Set them up, manage the blackmail. Someone with access to technology, to surveillance, to resources. Who? We don't know yet. But whoever it is, they're the real brain behind the operation. Amara is just a pretty face. Adana checked her watch. You have about 90 minutes before your father arrives from Abuja, correct? Yes. Then I suggest you go to Amara's apartment right now, while she thinks you're still at the hospital. Femi is already there with equipment. He'll show you things that will make your blood run cold. Get evidence, Chike. Get leverage. Because when your father arrives, you'll need every weapon you can find. Chike stood, then hesitated. Why isn't Ngozi helping me? After what I did. Adana's face was unreadable. She said to tell you, because someone has to be the bigger person, and it clearly isn't going to be you. 40 minutes later, Chike and Emeka stood outside Amar's apartment building in Lekki. A nondescript man in casual clothes approached them. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, the kind of person who blended into any crowd. Femi Adeyemi, he introduced himself. Your aunt hired me 2 hours ago. I move fast. He held up a small device. I got into the apartment 30 minutes ago. Amara is at a spa in Ikoyi. Weekly appointment. Very predictable. We have maybe an hour before she returns. How did you get in? Emeka asked. Femi smiled. I have many skills. Come. Inside the apartment, everything looked different to Chike now. What had seemed like sophisticated luxury yesterday now looked staged, calculated. Femi led them to Amara's bedroom and pulled a small laptop from his bag. I installed monitoring software on her computer while I was here. Look. The screen showed Amara's email inbox. Femi scrolled through messages, each one more damning than the last. There were conversations with someone named Kingmaker01, clearly her partner, discussing targets and payouts. There were records of bank transfers from multiple men. There were photographs, intimate, compromising photographs of at least 7 different men. And then Femi opened a folder labeled Projects. Inside was subfolder, Chike Okonkwo Construction Air. Chike's file contained everything. Copies of his bank statements, screenshots of his text messages, photos of him leaving his father's office with the company checkbook, even audio recordings of their private conversations. She'd been documenting everything from the beginning, but it was a timeline that made Chike's blood freeze. Month 1. Initial contact at Industry Mixer. Confirmed target has access to family funds. Month 2. Establish relationship. Emotional vulnerability identified. Month 3. Create dependency. Financial requests begin. Month 4. Isolate from support system. Plant seeds of doubt about family. Month 5. Escalate to embezzlement. Evidence collection phase. Month 6. Execute endgame. Wedding disruption. Full control established. She planned everything, Chike whispered, from the very beginning. Not just her, Femi said, opening another file. Look at this. It was a video call recording between Amara and her partner, Kingmaker01. But this time, The partner's camera was on. Chike gasped. The face on the screen was someone he knew, someone he'd trusted, someone who had access to everything about his life, his family, his business. It was his father's personal assistant, Chidinma Obi, the woman who'd worked for Chief Okonkwo for 5 years, the woman who had access to all the company files, all the family secrets, all the vulnerabilities. She's the one feeding Amara information, Femi explained. Your father's PA is running this whole operation. Amara is just the actress following the script. Emeka grabbed Chike's shoulder. Your father lands in 45 minutes. We need to go. Now. But Chike was staring at the screen, at Chidinma's face, at the woman who'd smiled at him every morning when he visited his father's office, who'd wished him well at his wedding, who'd been present for every family dinner and business meeting for 5 years. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Having fun in my apartment? The cameras caught everything. Hope you enjoyed the show. Delete what you want. I have backups. See you soon. They'd walked right into a trap. Drop a like if your jaw just hit the floor. Who do you think Chike can trust now? Comment below and subscribe. The security footage played on Amar's laptop, like a horror movie. There was Chike, Emeka, and Femi, crystal clear on hidden cameras positioned throughout the apartment. Every move they'd made, every document they'd photographed, every word they'd spoken, all recorded. How many cameras? Emeka asked, his voice tight. Femi was already scanning the room with a small device. At least 6 in this apartment alone. Professional grade. Whoever set this up knew exactly what they were doing. He paused, his face grim. We need to leave. Now. If she knows we're here, she could have already called. The sound of keys in the front door lock stopped in mid-sentence. 3 grown men froze like children caught stealing candy. The bedroom window, Femi whispered urgently. Fire escape. Go. But they were on the 8th floor, and the window was painted shut. Emeka pulled frantically at the frame, while Chike stood paralyzed, listening to the apartment door swing open. Hello. Amara's voice sang through the apartment, sweet as poison. I know you're here, baby. The security guard downstairs called me. Said you came with some friends. How rude of you not to invite me to your little investigation party. Her heels clicked across the hardwood floor, getting closer. Femi made a decision. He grabbed Chike's arm and pulled him toward the bedroom door. Sometimes the only way out is through, he muttered. They emerged from the bedroom to find Amara standing in the living room, arms crossed, looking more amused and angry. She'd changed from her spa robe into a tight red dress that screamed confidence. Behind her stood 2 large men in black suits, private security, clearly hired muscle. Chike, 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 she said, shaking her head like a disappointed teacher. Did you really think I wouldn't have cameras? Did you think I was stupid? No. Chike said, finding his voice. I think you're smart. Very smart. Smart enough to plan this whole thing with Chidinma Obi. Amara's smile faltered for just a second, barely noticeable, but Chike saw it. I don't know what you're talking about. Your partner, Kingmaker 01, my father's personal assistant. Chike held up his phone, showing her a screenshot of the video call Femi had found. We have evidence. Emails, bank transfers. Everything. Amara laughed, but it sounded forced. Do you? Because I have evidence, too. Evidence of you breaking into my apartment, tampering with my property, violating my privacy. Who do you think the police will believe? The successful businesswoman, or the man who stole from his own father and assaulted his mother at his wedding? One of the security guards stepped forward menacingly, but Femi held up his hand. Before you do anything stupid, Femi said calmly, you should know that everything we found on your computer has been automatically uploaded to a secure cloud server. If anything happens to us, anything at all, it gets released to the police, the media, and every single one of your current clients. It was a bluff. Femi had only had 30 minutes in the apartment, but Amara didn't know that. Her eyes narrowed. You're lying. Am I? Femi smiled. Your file on Alhaji Musa Bello is particularly interesting. I'm sure his wife would love to see those photos. And Chief Okoro's business partners might have questions about where their investment money went. And Dr. Okafor. Well, the medical council would definitely want to know about the prescription fraud scheme you're running through his hospital access. Amara's face had gone pale. You have nothing? We have everything, Emeka said, his confidence growing. And if you're smart, you'll let us walk out of here. For a long moment, nobody moved. The security guards looked at Amara, waiting for instruction. Amara looked at Chike with something between hatred and grudging respect. Fine, she said finally. Go. But Chike, the evidence I have on you is still real. Your father still arrives in, she checked her diamond watch, 30 minutes. And I can still destroy you with one phone call. Maybe, Chike said, walking toward the door. But now I can destroy you too. Mutually assured destruction. They call it mad for a reason. They made it to the elevator before Chike's legs started shaking. As the doors closed, cutting off Amara's furious face. Emeka let out a breath he'd been holding. That was insane, he said. Femi, you were bluffing about the cloud upload, right? Completely, Femi admitted. I barely had time to copy 10% of what was on that computer. But she doesn't know that. So what now? Chike asked. We still don't have enough to stop her. Not really. Femi's phone buzzed. He read the message and smiled. A real smile this time, full of satisfaction. Actually, we might have something better. Remember that woman from Instagram? Chioma Akoli, Amara's former best friend? She just sent me something very, very interesting. He turned his phone to show them a video file. The thumbnail showed Amara and Chidinma sitting in a car, clearly unaware they were being filmed. Chioma was in the back seat during this conversation. 6 months ago, before she and Amara had their falling out, she recorded everything. Femi pressed play. The audio was scratchy but clear enough. Amara, so the construction errors hooked. Chike Okonkwo, richer than the last three combined. Chidinma, and more trusting. His father talks about him constantly. The golden boy, the heir apparent. Chief Okonkwo thinks his son could do no wrong. Amara, perfect. By the time we're done, Daddy will know exactly what his golden boy is capable of. The shock alone will be worth it. These family men and their precious legacies. Laughing. So easy to break. Chidinma, the wedding is the key. That's when we make him choose between his mother and you. Once he hits her. And he will, if you play it right, he'll be so ashamed, so isolated, he'll do anything to keep you, including stealing more. Amara. And if he doesn't hit her? Chidinma. Then we have plan B. But trust me, I've seen how he looks at you. How defensive he gets. Push the right buttons and he'll snap. Men always do. The video ended. Chike felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. It wasn't just about money. They deliberately engineered the worst moment of his life. They'd planned for him to hit his mother. They'd wanted him to destroy himself. They set me up, he whispered. The whole thing. Everything. Yes, Femi said, and now we have proof. But here's the problem. This video was recorded without consent. It might not be admissible in court, and Chioma obtained it through questionable means. Then what good is it? Emeka asked. It's good for one thing, Femi said. Leverage. And we're going to need it, because your father's plane just landed 20 minutes early. He's already on his way to Ikoyi. Chief Okonkwo's house in Ikoyi was exactly what you'd expect from a self-made construction magnate. Imposing, expensive, designed to intimidate. Chike arrived with Emeka and Femi to find his father's Mercedes already parked in the circular driveway. Inside, Chief Okonkwo sat in his leather armchair like a king on a throne. He was a big man, not fat, but large in a way that commands attention. At 63, he still had the presence that had built a construction empire from nothing. You're late, he said without looking up from the document he was reading. And you brought an audience. How theatrical. Papa, I can explain. Explain. Chief Okonkwo finally looked up, and his eyes were cold. Explain how you stole 3 million naira from our company account? Explain how you humiliated your mother and destroyed a good marriage alliance? Explain how you dragged our family name through social media like trash. He stood, and despite his age, he seemed to tower over everyone. There is no explanation, Chike. There's only consequence. Sir, Femi stepped forward. My name is Femi Adeyemi. I'm a private investigator. Before you disown your son, there's something you need to see. Chief Okonkwo's eyebrows rose. A private investigator? Is this supposed to impress me? No, sir, but this might. Femi pulled out his laptop. Your son was targeted by a sophisticated blackmail operation. The woman, Amara Nwosu, has been running this scheme for at least 2 years. She's extorted money from at least 8 men that we know of. My son is a grown man. He made choices. Choices that were engineered by your personal assistant, Chidinma Obi. The room went silent. Chief Okonkwo sat back down slowly. What did you say? Femi played the video from the car. Chioma's secret recording filled the room. Amara and Chidinma, plotting, laughing, describing exactly how they would manipulate Chike into destroying his own life. When it finished, Chief Okonkwo's face had gone completely blank. The kind of blank that came before an explosion. Chidinma, he said quietly. I trusted her with everything. My schedule, my files, my family's private information. She's been feeding it all to Amara, Femi confirmed. Every vulnerability, every family secret, every business detail. They choose targets based on who has the most to lose and the easiest access to money. Chief Okonkwo stood and walked to the window, his back to them. For a long moment, he said nothing. When he finally spoke, his voice was different, older, tired. I built my company with my hands. Literally, I mixed concrete on construction sites before I could afford to hire workers. I sacrificed everything to give my family a better life. He turned to face Chike. And someone I trusted used that against my own son. Papa, Chike started, you're still an idiot. Chief Okonkwo cut him off. You still stole from the company. You still hit your mother. You still threw away a good woman for a beautiful lie. Those are your choices, son. Nobody else's. I know. But, Chief Okonkwo continued, you were also hunted, manipulated by professionals. And that, his voice hardened, that I will not tolerate. He pulled out his phone and made a call. Commissioner? It's Chief Okonkwo. Yes, fine. Thank you. Listen, I need a favor. A fraud investigation. 2 suspects, Amara Nwosu and my former personal assistant, Chidinma Obi. How soon can you move? Good. I'll send you everything within the hour. He hung up and looked at Femi. Send me everything you have. Every file, every recording, every piece of evidence. I have lawyers who specialize in corporate fraud. They'll tear these women apart. But Papa, Chike said, Amara still has evidence of me stealing. Let her try to use it, Chief Okonkwo said grimly. She'll be in police custody by morning. And as for you, he walked over and grabbed Chike by the shoulders, not gently. You're going to pay back every naira. You're going to apologize to your mother every day until she forgives you. You're going to work at the company for no salary until your debt is cleared. And you're going to grow up because I'm done raising children. Yes, sir. And Chike, if you ever raise your hand to your mother again, I'll disown you myself. Are we clear? Yes, sir. There was a knock at the door. Chief Okonkwo's current assistant, a young man who'd only been hired 2 weeks ago, poked his head in nervously. Sir? Sorry to interrupt, but there's a woman at the gate. She says her name is Ngozi, and she needs to speak with Chike urgently. She says it's about Chidinma. Every head in the room turned to look at each other. Let her in, Chief Okonkwo said. What does Ngozi know? Is there another twist coming? Ngozi walked into Chief Okonkwo's study like she owned it, head high, spine straight, wearing a simple navy dress that somehow made her look more regal than any wedding gown ever could. Her eyes were clear, no trace of the tears Chike had last seen streaming down her face as she walked away from their ruined altar. Miss Ngozi, Chief Okonkwo said, standing. Whatever his personal feelings about the situation, he was too much of a gentleman to sit while a lady stood. Please have a seat. Thank you, Chief, but I'll stand. This won't take long. She finally looked at Chike, and her expression was unreadable. I came because Chidinma just showed up at my parent house. The room erupted. What? Chike exploded when Femi demanded, already pulling out his phone. 20 minutes ago, Ngozi said calmly, my father was about to throw her out, but she said she had information about Amara. Information that would help our lawsuit against Chike. It's a trap, Emeka said immediately. Obviously, Ngozi agreed, but my father doesn't know that yet. He doesn't know about Chidinma's involvement. He thinks she's being helpful. She pulled out her own phone and played an audio recording. I recorded everything. Chidinma's voice came through, smooth and professional. Mr. Nnamdi, I'm so sorry about what happened at the wedding. I've worked for Chief Okonkwo for 5 years, and I've watched Chike grow increasingly unstable. That woman, Amara, has been manipulating him, but there's evidence she's done this before. If you're suing him, I have documents that could strengthen your case, prove a pattern of financial irresponsibility and emotional instability. Ngozi's father's voice. Why would you betray your employer like this? Chidinma, because what happened to your daughter was wrong. Chike needs help, and Chief Okonkwo is too proud to see it. Sometimes loyalty means protecting people from themselves. She's positioning herself as a concerned employee, Femi said, his voice tight with professional anger, trying to flip the narrative before we expose her. If your father takes that evidence to court, Chidinma looks like a whistleblower, not a conspirator. Except she doesn't know we have the video from the car, Emeka pointed out. She knows something's up, Ngozi said. Why else would she suddenly show up offering to help? Someone tipped her off that we're investigating. All eyes turned to Chike. Don't look at me, he said. I haven't talked to anyone except, he stopped, his face going pale. The hospital. When I was visiting Mama, Chidinma's sister works in administration there. She must have seen me come in, called Chidinma. Or, Femi said quietly, Amara told her after we left the apartment. Either way, Chidinma is making a preemptive strike. Classic strategy, get ahead of the accusation by becoming the accuser. Chief Okonkwo had been silent, his face growing darker with each revelation. Now he stood and walked his desk, pulling out a thick file folder. I've been a fool, he said, opening the folder. Inside were employment records, financial statements, personal information. Chidinma came to me 5 years ago with perfect references, perfect credentials. But I never looked deep enough. I trusted her because she was efficient, professional, invisible when I needed her to be. He looked at Femi. Can you investigate her background? Her real background? Already started, Femi said, typing on his laptop. Chidinma Obi, age 34, Lagos State University graduate. Supposedly worked for 3 other executives before you. He paused, his fingers flying over the keys. Except 2 of those executives don't exist. The companies are shells. And the third... He stopped, his eyes widening. The third one is Chief Emmanuel Okoro. Okoro! Chief Okonkwo's face went rigid. My former business partner? The one who tried to steal my contracts 10 years ago. The same. And according to these financial records, Chidinma received a payment of 500,000 naira from an account registered to Chief Okoro's wife just 2 months before she applied to work for you. The pieces clicked into place like a deadly puzzle. This isn't just about blackmail. Chief Okonkwo said slowly. This is corporate espionage. Chidinma was planted in my company to steal information, to sabotage my family, to undermine my business from the inside. And Amara was the weapon she used. Chike said, the full scope of his manipulation finally becoming clear. I wasn't just a target. I was collateral damage in a vendetta against my father. Ngozi's phone buzzed. She looked at it, and her face changed. My father just texted. He's accepting Chidinma's offer. He wants to meet with her tomorrow to go over the documents. We have to stop him, Emeka said. No, Femi said thoughtfully. We let the meeting happen, but we control the narrative. He looked at Chief Okonkwo. Sir, do you trust me? I trusted my personal assistant, and look where that got me. Chief Okonkwo said dryly. But I don't have many other options. What's your plan? We wire Mr. Nnamdi, Femi explained. He goes into that meeting with Chidinma, wearing a recording device. We let her talk, let her present her evidence. Let her dig herself deeper. Then we show him the truth. The video from the car, the bank transfers, everything, with his testimony about her attempted manipulation, will have enough to bury both her and Amara. My father will never agree to that, Ngozi said. He's furious at Chike. Why would he help him? Because Chief Okonkwo said he's a businessman, and businessmen understand revenge. He looked at Ngozi properly for the first time. Your father and I have known each other for 30 years. We've done deals together, attended the same clubs. Our children were supposed to unite our families. That alliance is broken now, thanks to my idiot son. But the one thing we still share is a hatred of being played for fools. You want to call him? Ngozi said. It wasn't a question. I want to show him that we're both victims here, that our children were pawns in someone else's game. Chief Okonkwo picked up his phone. And then I want to destroy the people who thought they could manipulate the Okonkwo family. 2 hours later, they sat in Chief Okonkwo's study watching a live feed from a hidden camera. Ngozi's father, Chief Nnamdi, sat in his own home office across town, a tiny microphone hidden in his collar, recording every word. Chidinma entered right on time, carrying a briefcase and wearing her most professional outfit, a gray pantsuit that screamed trustworthiness. Chief Nnamdi, thank you for seeing me on such short notice. You said you had evidence, Ngozi's father said, his voice perfectly neutral. Chief Okonkwo had coached him well. I'm listening. Chidinma opened her briefcase and pulled out a stack of documents. These are bank statements showing Chike Okonkwo's pattern of financial irresponsibility over the past 18 months. Gambling debts, expensive purchases, money transferred to unknown accounts. Femi zoomed in on the documents through the camera feed. Those are forgeries, he muttered. Good ones, but forgeries. She's creating a false trail to make Chike look even worse. On screen, Chidinma continued, I also have emails showing that Chike was planning to leave Ngozi even before the wedding. He told Amara he was only going through with it to please his parents. The wedding was a lie from the start. That's not true, Chike said, his voice breaking. I love Ngozi. I was confused, manipulated, but I never... Sure, Chief Okonkwo commanded. Let her finish. Chidinma was warming to her performance now. Chief Nnamdi, I know this is painful, but your daughter dodged a bullet. Chike Okonkwo is not the man you thought he was. And Chief Okonkwo is so blinded by fatherly love that he can't see what his son has become. If you pursue your lawsuit, I can provide testimony. I can help you prove that Chike's actions weren't just a momentary lapse. They were the inevitable result of years of deception and moral decay. Interesting, Chief Nnamdi said slowly. And you're willing to testify against your employer? Former employer, Chidinma corrected. I can't work for a man who enables his son's destructive behavior. Some things are more important than a paycheck. Justice, for instance. Protecting innocent women, like your daughter, from predators like Chike. It was a masterful performance. If they hadn't known the truth, Chidinma would have been completely convincing. I see, Chief Nnamdi said. And tell me, Chidinma, when did you first become aware of Chike's relationship with Amara? A pause. Barely noticeable, but there. About 6 months ago. I saw text messages on his phone when he left it in his father's office. 6 months ago, Chief Nnamdi repeated. The same time Amara Nwosu first appeared in his life. What a coincidence. Another pause, longer this time. I suppose so. I hadn't thought about the timing. And this woman, Amara, do you know her? Only by reputation. She has a history with men. A history, Chief Nnamdi said. Would you say she targets wealthy men specifically? Chidinma's face, visible through the hidden camera, showed the first crack in her composure. I wouldn't know about that. Really? Because I find it interesting that you know so much about Chike's behavior, about his financial records, about his relationship, but you claim to know nothing about the woman at the center of it all. Chief Nnamdi leaned forward. Tell me, Chidinma, how long have you and Amar been working together? The color drained from Chidinma's face. I don't know what you mean. Don't you? Chief Nnamdi pulled out his own phone and played the video. Chioma's recording from the car. Chidinma and Amara's voices filled the room, plotting, laughing, describing their manipulation of Chike in cold, clinical detail. Chidinma stood up so fast her chair fell over. That's fake. That's your voice, Chief Namdi said coldly. And that you conspire and to destroy my daughter's wedding, manipulate Chief Okonkwo's son, and commit fraud against one of Lagos's most respected families. He stood as well, his voice rising. Did you think I was stupid? Did you think we wouldn't investigate? Did you think Chief Okonkwo would just roll over and let you destroy his son? Chief Namdi, please, let me explain. The police are on their way, Chief Namdi continued. Chief Okonkwo called the commissioner an hour ago. They're bringing a warrant for your arrest. Fraud, conspiracy, extortion, corporate espionage. They have quite a list. Chidinma grabbed her briefcase and ran for the door, but it opened before she reached it. 2 police officers entered, followed by Commissioner Adebayo himself, a stern man in his 50s who built his reputation on taking down white-collar criminals. Chidinma Obi, he said formally, you're under arrest. In Chief Okonkwo's study, watching a live feed, there was complete silence as the officers cuffed Chidinma and read her rights. She was crying now, her professional mask completely shattered, begging for mercy that wouldn't come. That's one down, Chief Okonkwo said quietly. Now for the other. Femi's phone rang. He answered, listened, and smiled, a cold, satisfied smile. That was my contact at Amara's building. She just left her apartment with 3 suitcases, heading to the airport. She's running, Emeka said. Not fast enough, Chief Okonkwo replied. He made another call. Commissioner? Yes, the arrest went smoothly. Thank you. Now about the second suspect, Amara Nwosu. She's heading to Murtala Muhammad International Airport right now. Can you have officers waiting? Excellent. He hung up and looked at Chike. Your mistakes nearly destroyed this family, but you're still my son. So I'm going to ask you once. Do you want to be there when they arrest her? Do you want to watch the woman who manipulated you face justice? Chike thought about it, about Amara's smile, her promises, the way she'd made him feel like he was special, chosen, loved. Then he thought about his mother's face when he'd hit her, about Ngozi walking away in her ruined wedding dress, about all the lies wrapped in beautiful packaging. No, he said finally, I don't need to see her again. I just need her gone. Ngozi, who'd been silent throughout the arrest, finally spoke. What happens now? Now, Chief Okonkwo said. Now we rebuild. Chike repays his debts. The family name gets cleared. Your father and I discuss how to handle the lawsuit. I suspect we can come to an arrangement that doesn't destroy my son completely. And what about Amara and Chidinma? Emeka asked. Femi pulled up a news article on his laptop, just published, trending on Twitter. The headline read, Lagos blackmail ring exposed. 2 women arrested in multi-million naira fraud scheme. The media already has it, Femi said. By morning, every news station in Nigeria will be running this story. Amara Nwosu and Chidinma Obi will be the most infamous women in Lagos. Chief Okonkwo's phone buzzed with a message. He read it and nodded with satisfaction. Amara was arrested at the airport. She'll be held overnight. Arraignment tomorrow morning. He looked at his son. It's over, Chike. The nightmare is over. But as everyone began to relax, to breathe for the first time in hours, Ngozi's phone rang. She answered, her face going pale as she listened. What? Emeka asked, What is it? Ngozi lowered her phone slowly. That was the hospital. Your mother, Chike. She's asking for you. The doctors say... She swallowed hard. They say you need to come now. Her heart can't take much more stress. She's saying goodbye. Is this the end, or is there one final twist? Comment your prayers for Mama D's and smash that subscribe button. The final chapter drops next. You won't miss how this story ends. The drive to Reddington Hospital felt like traveling through water. Everything slow, distorted, unreal. Chike sat in the back of his father's Mercedes. Chief Okonkwo driving faster than was safe through Lagos's night traffic, while Emeka and Ngozi followed in a separate car behind them. She'll be fine, Chief Okonkwo said, but his hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles had gone white. Your mother is strong. She survived worse than this. But they both knew that wasn't true. Adiz had survived poverty. She'd survived the struggle of building a life with an ambitious husband. She'd survived the complications of childbirth that had left her unable to have more children after Chike. But she'd never had to survive her only son striking her in public, choosing a manipulative woman over his own family, watching everything she'd sacrificed for crumble in a single moment. Some wounds cut too deep for survival. They burst through the hospital doors at 11:47 p.m. Anin Kem was waiting in the corridor outside the ICU, her face streaked with tears, her wrapper askew from hours of sitting in uncomfortable chairs. She's awake, Anin Kem said. She's been asking for you. Both of you. She grabbed Chike's arm as he tried to rush past. But Chike, she's not the same. The doctor said the stress caused a minor heart attack. They stabilized her, but she's tired. So tired. Inside room 407, Adiz looked impossibly small in the hospital bed, connected to monitors and IVs that beeped and dripped with mechanical indifference. Her eyes were closed, her breathing shallow. The strong woman who'd raised Chike, who'd built a home through sheer force of will and love, looked fragile as paper. Mama, Chike whispered, kneeling beside her bed. Her eyes fluttered open. For a moment, she looked confused, as if she couldn't quite place who he was. Then recognition dawned, and with it, a complicated mixture of emotions that played across her face like shadows. My son, she said, her voice barely audible. I'm here, Mama. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Chief Okonkwo stood at the foot of the bed, and for the first time in Chike's life, he saw his father cry. Not loud, dramatic tears, but silent ones that slid down his cheeks unchecked. Adiz, Chief Okonkwo said, don't leave me. We still have so much life to live. Adiz smiled weakly. You'll be fine, old man. You're too stubborn to fall apart. She turned her attention back to Chike, lifting one trembling hand to touch his face. Do you know what hurt the most? Mama, please don't. Let me finish, she said with a flash of her old strength. What hurt the most wasn't the slap. It was watching you become someone I didn't recognize. Watching you choose cruelty over kindness, lies over truth, a stranger over your family. Her thumb traced his cheekbone, the same gesture she'd used when he was a child with scraped knees and hurt feelings. Where did my boy go, Chike? Where did I lose you? I'm right here, Chike sobbed. I'm still here, Mama. I was lost, but I'm finding my way back. Please give me the chance to find my way back. The women who did this to you, Adiz said, they've been arrested? Yes, both of them. They'll go to prison for what they did. Good. Adiz said simply, not because I want revenge, but because they need be stopped before they hurt someone else's son. She closed her eyes for a moment, gathering strength. But Chike, you need to understand something. They didn't make you hit me. They created the circumstances, yes. They manipulated you, yes. But when your hand rose, when it struck my face, that was your choice. No one else's. I know. Do you? Because I need you to truly understand this. You can't blame them for everything. You were weak when you should have been strong. You were cruel when you should have been kind. Those are your sins to carry, not theirs. The monitor beside her bed beeped faster. A nurse rushed in, checked the readings, gave Adiz something to her for. You need to rest, the nurse said firmly. Your heart can't take the stress. My heart is breaking anyway, Adiz said. At least let me say what needs to be said. She waited until the nurse reluctantly left. Chike, I forgive you. The words hung in the air like a benediction. What? Chike whispered. I forgive you, Adiz repeated. Not because you deserve it. Not because what you did was okay. But because you're my son, and I will love you even when you're unlovable. That's what mothers do. She looked at her husband. That's what family does. Chief Okonkwo moved to the other side of the bed, taking his wife's hand. We'll get through this, he said. All of us, as a family. Will we? Adiz looked between them. Because family means sacrifice. It means Chike working to repay every naira he stole. It means humble apologies to everyone he hurt. It means years of rebuilding trust that was shattered in minutes. Are you both ready for that? Are you ready to do the hard work of becoming a family again? Yes, they said together. There was a soft knock on the door. Ngozi stood there hesitant, with Emeka behind her. I'm sorry to interrupt, Ngozi said quietly. I just want to check if there's anything you need. Adi's face softened when she saw her. Come here, child. Ngozi approached the bed nervously. Adiz reached out and took her hand. I'm sorry my son broke your heart. Adiz said, You deserve better. You deserve the wedding you planned, the marriage you dreamed of, the life you should have had. It's not your fault, Ngozi started. I know, but I'm still sorry. Adiz looked at Chike. I raised him to be better than this. Clearly, I failed somewhere. You didn't fail, Mama, Chike said. I did. All of this is my failure, not yours. Ngozi squeezed Adiz's hand gently. For what it's worth, she said, I don't hate him. I should, but I don't. Maybe I'm foolish, but I think he can still become the man everyone thought he was. It will just take time. And work. A lot of work. Will you give him that time? Adiz asked. Ngozi was quiet for a long moment. Everyone in the room held their breath. I don't know, she said finally, and it was the most honest thing anyone had said all night. Right now, I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm humiliated. My family wants to sue him into poverty, and part of me wants that too. But another part of me, she looked at Chike, really looked at him. Another part of me remembers who we were before Mara, before the lies, and that part wonders if that version of us still exists somewhere. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to find again, Chike said. If you'll let me. Don't make promises you can't keep, Ngozi said softly. Not anymore. The monitor beeped again, slower this time. Adiz's eyes were closing. She needs to sleep, the nurse said, returning with more authority. All of you out. You can come back in the morning. No, Adiz said, forcing her eyes open one more time. Not yet. One more thing. She looked at each person in the room. Her husband, her son, her sister, the woman who should have been her daughter-in-law. Life is short. I'm lying in this hospital bed as proof of that. Don't waste it on grudges. Don't waste it on pride. Don't waste it on anything except love and truth and the hard work of being better humans. We won't, Mama, Chike said. You will, Adiz said with a small smile. Because you're human, and humans are beautifully, tragically flawed. But when you do waste it, and you will come back to this moment, remember that your mother loved you enough to forgive the unforgivable, and try to be worthy of that forgiveness. Her eyes closed, and this time they didn't open again. But the monitor showed her heartbeat, steady, strong, fighting. 3 months later. Chike stood outside the construction site in Lekki, wearing a hard hat and work boots covered in dust and sweat. He'd been working on site for 12 weeks now, no longer the executive who showed up in suits and gave orders. Now he was just another laborer, earning minimum wage, learning the business from the ground up the way his father had decades ago. His phone buzzed. A news alert. Amara Nwosu and Chidinma Obi sentenced to 7 years each in landmark fraud case. 7 years. It was over. Really, truly over. Chike, his supervisor called. Break's over. We need that concrete mix before sunset. Coming, he called back. As he returned to work, he saw a familiar car pull up to the site entrance. Ngozi stepped out, wearing jeans and a simple blouse, looking nothing like the bride she'd been 3 months ago. She'd called him twice in the past 3 months. Short conversations. Careful conversations. Testing the waters of whether anything could be salvaged from the wreckage. He walked over, removing his hard hat. Hi, he said. Hi, she replied. They stood there awkwardly, two people who'd once planned to spend their lives together, now practically strangers. Your mother invited me to dinner, Ngozi said, at your parents' house this Sunday. She said she's been cooking all week, making all your favorite foods. She wanted me to tell you personally. You don't have to come, Chike said quickly. I know my family hurt you. Your family didn't hurt me, Ngozi corrected. You did. But your family has been nothing but kind since everything happened. Your mother calls me every week to check on me. Your father convinced my father to settle the lawsuit for a fraction of what he wanted. Ani Nkem sends me prayers and scripture passages. She smiled slightly. They're good people, Chike. You come from good people. I'm trying to be good people, too, Chike said. It's harder than I thought. Turns out rebuilding trust is a lot more difficult than destroying it. I've noticed, Ngozi said, but I've also noticed you showing up every day, doing the work, not making excuses. She looked at the construction site, at the physical labor he was doing to repay his debt. It matters. The effort matters. Does it matter enough? Chike asked, for us, is there enough to rebuild? Ngozi was quiet for a long time. I don't know, she said finally. Ask me again in 6 months. Or a year. Or maybe never. But for now, I'll come to dinner on Sunday. I'll be civil. I'll see if the man I thought I loved is actually who you're becoming. She turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and Chike, your mother told me what you did with your first paycheck. Chike had donated his entire first month's wages to a women's shelter that helped victims of domestic abuse and manipulation. It was a small thing, inadequate really, but it was something. It wasn't much. It was everything, Ngozi said. It showed me you understand what you did wasn't just about us. It was about respecting women, about understanding the damage that manipulation and violence, even a single slap, can do. She walked back to her car. See you Sunday, Chike. As she drove away, Emeka appeared beside him, also covered in dust. He'd insisted on working alongside Chike, claiming someone needed to keep him honest. Well, Emeka asked, she's coming to dinner. That's something. It's everything, Chike corrected, echoing Ngozi's words. It's a chance. That's all I can ask for. They walked back to the construction site together. The sun was setting over Lagos, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. In his pocket, Chike's phone buzzed again, a text from his mother. Doctor says my heart is getting stronger. So is yours. Keep building, my son. Keep building. Chike looked at the construction site, at the foundation they were pouring, at the structure that would rise from concrete and steel and hard work. Somewhere in the city, Amara and Chidinma sat in prison cells, their schemes undone, their victims vindicated. Somewhere else, Chief Okonkwo was probably reviewing contracts, rebuilding the business that had been compromised. And in a hospital that had almost become a tomb, Adiz Okonkwo was growing stronger every day. The slap that had cost Chike everything, his wedding, his reputation, his self-respect, nearly his mother's life, had also taught him something fundamental about being human. You could lose everything and still find a way back. It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be quick. But if you were willing to do the work, to face your mistakes, to rebuild one day at a time, redemption was possible. Not guaranteed. Not deserved. But possible. And for now, that was enough. 1 year later, Chike stood in his mother's kitchen, helping her prepare dinner for the family. His hands, now calloused from months of construction work, moved with practiced efficiency as he chopped vegetables. You've gotten good at this, Adiz commented, stirring a pot of egusi soup. I've had a good teacher, Chike said. Through the window, he could see his father and Emeka in the backyard, arguing good-naturedly about the proper way to grill suya. The doorbell rang. That's probably Ngozi, Adiz said, wiping her hands on her apron. Would you get it? Chike opened the door to find Ngozi standing there, holding a bottle of wine, and wearing a yellow dress that reminded him of sunshine. Hi, she said. Hi, he replied. Some things never changed. They still greeted each other carefully, still moved around each other like dancers learning a new choreography. But there was something different now, a tentative trust, a cautious hope. Come in, Chike said, stepping aside. As Ngozi entered, she squeezed his hand briefly, just for a moment, a gesture that said, I'm still here. We're still trying. It wasn't a wedding. It wasn't even a relationship. Not really, but it was a beginning. and after everything that had been destroyed, a beginning felt like a miracle. Ngozi, a D's call from the kitchen. Come taste this soup and tell me if it needs more pepper. As Ngozi walked toward the kitchen, laughing, Chike stood in the doorway and watched his family, broken, rebuilt, still healing, come together around a table. He'd slapped his mother and lost everything that made him human that day. But slowly, painfully, with more effort than he'd ever imagined possible, he was finding his way back to humanity. And that was worth more than any wedding, any fortune, any beautiful lie. That was worth everything. What did you think of Chike's journey? Did he deserve redemption, or should the consequences have been harsher? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story moved you, please like this video, share with someone who needs to hear this message about manipulation and redemption, and subscribe to Echoes of Africa for more powerful African stories that will make you think, feel, and see the world differently. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our next compelling story. Thank you for watching, and remember, everyone deserves a chance at redemption, but redemption must be earned. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and stay true to yourself.